Welcome back to the Curiosity Workshop. This is going to be tutorial number 3 for XPLPro. I've also changed things a little bit in the distribution and added some things. I'm going to let you know what those are here real quick. First of all, the Arduino library ships with examples that are now available when you go to examples here. You can see I love Adafruit. But I'm at the bottom here, XPLPro, and you can see all the examples for various things. This is a growing list of things to check, so keep your updates coming. Today we're going to use the XPLPro switches example. I have added to XPLPro some wrapping libraries for common things like switches and potentiometers and multiplexers, and there's more to come as well. I'm going to go over the switches one today. This will substantially reduce the amount of coding you have to do to make XPLPro work for you. You can include XPL switches here. It takes care of a lot of the functionality when you're utilizing switches. Real quick, these are pins that I have connected to my prototype button box over here. I'm using on the Arduino Mega pins 45, 47, 49, 51, and 53. We need to create a function here that will be called when a switch event is triggered, and this could be pressing it, releasing it, and I'm probably going to add things like long press and double click and things like that. For now, I'm supporting when it's pressed and when it's released. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. We need to create an instance of the switch handler right here. And we provide that function. This could also be null if you're not interested in processing events on your own. You can put null into here and then it won't ever call it. This is the normal stuff from previous videos. However, we do have to run switches begin here until the instance of XPLPro right there, so it knows how to call things. In the loop, we need to have a switches.check, which will call the switches, and it will look through all the switches that you've registered, or all the pins that you've registered, and see which ones have events on them. It also does debounce for you, and it reduces the amount of traffic flow automatically for you. So really all you have to do here in the register section of XPLPro, because it could be potentially called multiple times during a session, clear just erases the switches that we've registered. And for each pin that we've defined, we can run the add pin function here. And what we want it to do when an event is triggered. And then here's the data ref. So for instance, in this one, we're going to run the beacon light toggle anytime we get an event on the pin. When the switch that's on pin beacon is pressed, it will call command trigger, and it will trigger this command that we sent to it. Another way to do this is, for instance, if you have a pin that is a momentary switch to activate a starter, we want it to be starting while we're holding down the pin or the button, and then we want it to stop the command after we let go. So it will send the command start when we press the switch down. It will send command end when we're done, and so that way it's active the whole time that we're holding the switch. We can also tell the switches add-on to do data ref write inverts or just regular data refs. So it will send when the switch is being held. It will set the in this case the strobe lights on, and then when you let go, it's off. And that works. If that works backwards for you, you can use this invert version right here, and then it sends the opposite for you automatically. I've got an example of each of them here. If you have a switch that you don't want to have anything happen in Xplane, we can process it just by telling it to send it to our handler that we defined earlier, and then no processing will happen as far as to the X-Plane plugin. Here's an example here. It's just going to, when the switch is active, then it will just turn the LED on. So when switch handler is called, and it is called for every event, regardless of whether it's processing the commands or data refs or whatever, we don't have to process anything unless we want to. In this case, if the end pin is the LED switch that we defined, we can set the built-in LED to follow the status of the switch. In the case of the strobe here, it will turn the strobe lights on and off automatically, and it also calls here. So if we want to do additional things, in this case I'm going to have it say strobe on and strobe off, depending on the status of the pin. I have this connected to an Arduino Mega. And there it's programmed. Let's start X-Plane. See how this works.
Strobe off.
Move this over a little. Alright, this is my favorite testing aircraft, the Beechcraft Baron. Alright, on my button box here, I have one regular switch. You can see that is affecting the nav light on and off. It follows the data ref. This one is just affecting the LED that's built in on there. It's not doing anything within X-Plane. This one is engaging the starters. As you can see, as I hold the button, the starters stay engaged, and then when I let go, they go back. Don't try to start your engines when they're already running if you have a real airplane.
Strobe on.
So this one, when I hold it down, turns the strobe on. This would be better suited for a regular toggle switch. So strobe is on,
Strobe off.
Strobe is off, and you can hear that it's responding to the
strobe on, strobe off,
to the switches. On the other side here, there's one more switch that toggles the beacon, so every time I press it, it triggers that command. Pretty cool. And I think that's all I have for you here today. In the next video that I make, we're going to talk about some of the other wrappers. I think the next one is for potentiometers. So I hope to see you there. Links to our Patreon page and also to our Discord, and also to items that I use in my builds are listed in the description box. I hope to see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.